I'm gonna start off the podcast. Hey, cheers, Joe. I know he's got this too. Hey, Joe, shout out, Joe. All right, what's going on, guys? This is Drewski with Cryptidwarfare and Conspiracies Podcast. Hope you guys had a blessed week, guys. We got a banger of a show for you. It's been a while in the making, so him and I have got crazy schedules. So he tried to get me on his show for a while. We had to fluctuate. I finally got on, then vice versa. I told him, buddy, let's do a pod swap. So before I introduce who the guest is, if you guys got any stories or anything like that, or you guys got any encounters, you guys got any prayer requests or anything, hit me up, cryptidwarfare@gmail.com. That's cryptidwarfare@gmail.com. Also, if you guys are having any spiritual warfare problems or anything like that, you guys are having any cryptid problems, also run another business. It's called C.WOPPS Operations and Survival. We basically are more like liaisons when it comes to about cryptids and stuff like that, or commercial warfare, anything like that. We also teach you guys about urban survival, stuff like that. So we're also running a couple of starting up this coming up summer. We're going to be doing cryptid safaris. So anybody wants to tag along, let me know. We'll talk about all the details, but we're going to teach you guys how to bushcraft, how to track, how to basically, if we find any footprints, we teach you guys how to cast them and stuff like that. So, yep. Other than that, that's all I got. So let's get to the show. So, guys, if you guys don't know who this guy is, I don't know. You guys are living under a freaking rock. That's all I got to say. So, I call him AG, but he runs the Paranoi Radio Podcast. So, first name's Angel, right? Just make sure
Angel Garcia.
Right. Angel Garcia. That's right. Cool beans, guys. May I introduce Angel Garcia, bro? Thanks for coming on the show, my friend.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me on. First of all, I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today, and I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space, guys. I go off on the show as Trebles Garcia. My real name is Angel Garcia. You can call me whatever you need and whatever you want. Again, dude, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a blessing, dude. It's a little nerve-wracking to be on your show. So you have a huge YouTube presence, but we're here today to rock and roll and make some magic, bro.
I'm looking at your IG and stuff. You got 23,000. So I don't want to hear that, bro. You're humble, man. Bro. That's the key thing of being humble. I appreciate you, dude.
Dude, the numbers don't translate as usual, bro. And believe it or not, I don't look at the numbers, bro. I look at the passion behind it, the consistency, the messaging, and then putting God first and everything. That's the most important thing.
100%, dude. I'm the same way. Like, I don't really give a rip about numbers, man. Just come on here. You're passionate about it. Do your thing, and see where God takes you. So, other than that, dude, give me a little brief bio about yourself, man.
Woo! Well, first of all, shout outs to Ancient Enigma.
Yeah.
We're gonna send some. We're gonna do that a little snippet. We're gonna put that out on the show on the Instagram page. Well, guys, my name is Angel, dude. Again, like I told you, I'm 34 years old. I got a beautiful wife. I'm the father of two beautiful daughters. I got a 14-year-old. My toddler is the one that really drives me nuts. The show started about 4 years ago, dude, and it's been blowing up. Just recently, in the past year, we really started picking up some traction and rubbing elbows with people that don't only put God first and bring some scripture conversations, but also conspiracy topics and political analysis. Also, I started the show with my best friend. Shout out to Big Tank. He's no longer on the show as I would like him to be, but it's because he has his own life, and plus he's a normie. He doesn't like me talking about the Vatican and other stuff. I step on people's toes. That's what I was born for. But besides that, bro, we bring a lot of passion. I'm a Latino, so I just recently started opening up the can of worms for Spanish speakers, and started. Oh, that's also something I wanted to tell you, dude. Not a lot of podcasters in the game open up with prayer and or ask for their audience to give them a prayer request, and that's amazing, bro. That's amazing. I want to give you shout outs for that, because I would love to give for you to dedicate a prayer next time you come around on the mic for Marcia Castillo and her colleague that she has having a difficult time with her health right now. But she's a ministry. She's a minister, and she's a pastor, and she brings forth a lot of messaging, and she has a huge YouTube presence, and you guys gotta go check her out as well. And she's actually translating most of my episodes into Spanish now, so I'm opening up a Spanish series. So for my Spanish speakers out there, go check out the conspiracy topics and all with the biblical lens. So yeah, dude, that's basically what the show revolves around, bro.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Besides that, dude, let's just dive into it, man. So. First of all, what got you into diving into conspiracies? Why did you start your podcast? All that stuff, man. What definitely flicked on that light for you?
I'm going to be honest with you, bro. When I was a kid, dude, my dad was a freaking tweaker. He tatted me up on my arm when I was 12 years old. Yeah. Mind you, I was a kid in junior high going into high school, and I was tatted up to my freaking arms, and they were fucked up arm tattoos, but I was still tatted up. So I was that dude that would put his number 2 pencil behind his ear, walk with his notebook wrapped around, or nothing but taggings in the notebook, and in the back of the jeans, thinking I was cool, right? Tatted up. I never fit anywhere, bro. I was adopted by a Mexican family shortly after, and I didn't fit neither in the gangster scene and in the hoodlums, not in the tiger scene. I couldn't be. I was a good dancer, but I couldn't be a freaking a break dancer. I wasn't able to fit in any other of these areas, bro, until I was 17 years old, and I got into raving, into the music festival stuff, into the electric Daisy Up, all that extra shit. And then I started seeing where I fit. And it's not because I fit with the druggies or the hippie lovers or the peace, love, unity, respect people. No, it's because I started noticing frequencies. I started noticing chemtrails. I started noticing a lot of different things. I was always awakened to it. And I was always awakened to the propaganda of 2012. Then 2012 came back. I was fresh out of jail. We survived we survived the craziness. We survived, the end of the world didn't happen. Then I started looking into the Mayan calendar. So conspiracy theories always were where I fit. I just didn't know how to translate it as a child or as a teenager because I was too busy trying to be cool. I was too busy trying to find the next spliff or the next girl or the next party, to consume the next drug. And so yeah, I didn't fit anywhere. And conspiracy theories started from me a very, very young age. And then I got into, obviously, COVID. Kobe died. And then Beirut had a giant explosion, early 2019, 2020. And then I was dwelling where I was asking God. He was like, look, God, I'm stuck at home. I'm fighting with my wife. I need an out. And God came and sent me my best friend back. I stopped talking to my friend for years. He had his baby. He got married and everything. He called me back. He's like, yo, what's up, Traps? I'm like, what's up, bro? How you been? Dude, I want to be a YouTuber. I was like, dog, you spending too much time by yourself at home, dog. You're like, you are not a character, bro. And he goes, come on, bro. Let's do it. I know you can do it. I'm like, fuck it. Let's go then. Let's fucking handle business. Sorry if I'm cursing, bro. I know I got a little excited. And then we jumped on, and I told him I want to be a podcaster. I'm into conspiracy theories. Let's dive deep and conversate, just knock it out of the park. And we did. We started doing 2 to 3 episodes a week, and just rough, bro. It was rough in the beginning, dude. My friends were like, dude, you're freaking crazy. Why the hell are you doing that? We lost friends. I lost family, dude. And well, yeah, that's how basically what made the show kicked off. It was diving in deep into conspiracy theories during COVID. However, my favorite conspiracy theory is Titanic, the old school stuff. I'm a classic conspiracy theorist.
That's a good one, man. Especially that. That's funny though you say that because it's like that saying goes, first, like I said, the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off,
Yeah, a lot. I hear you, bro. I hear you because that's exactly how we broke chains and kind of annexed our no good family members or people that were trying to give us evil influences or make you go drink or make you go do drugs instead of actually reading a book or taking 5 seconds of your day to go to the search bar and search I don't know, Titanic, for example, or chemtrails and get some information out. Instead of scrolling on TikTok for 5 minutes, you could just take 5 seconds and use that computer you're carrying right now and dive into some deep dives, get some research going.
I'll tell you what, man, speaking of conspiracies, dude, let's freaking let's give like a little bit of cliff notes on the Titanic, man, for all you listeners out there. When you guys listen to this podcast, I know a lot of you don't know this, but Garcia, dive into this, man. What's up with the Titanic?
Dude, the Titanic's it's a crazy one, bro. I was very well versed on it until now. I like it that you put me on the spot because I might just retouch this, man. Yeah,
do it.
Sincerity. Yo, so the Titanic originally, how it started was people base off all their knowledge of the movie. And it's funny because even Jurassic Park, everybody bases off their knowledge of dinosaurs of how Jurassic Park depicted the dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
People now are saying, "Oh, why can't you go back and just bring back the old school dinos? The old school dinosaurs, the clean dinosaurs." Like, bro, they were never clean. They were always hybrid dinosaurs because they used to have feathers originally, and we just found that out, etc.
Yep.
The point is, all the knowledge that we have on the Titanic is very limited. Turns out that the same year that the Titanic sunk or was sunk, they didn't only cash out on a huge insurance claim, but they also murdered, and a lot of the people that were opposing the Federal Reserve sunk with it. So this is huge. Then you have the conspiracy theory, and this is not even a theory. This is fact. The Olympia. So the Olympia was the sister's ship that departed London, landed in New York months before the Titanic departed. And the Olympia, it is said to this day that the Olympia had a damage in its hull. So when it got here, they changed the lettering, they repainted it, they tried to make it look nice. Sorry. And right before it departed, they submitted an insurance. They opened up an insurance policy on it. And then when Chase found out what they were going to do, JP Morgan Chase, he pulled out all his beautiful arts. He pulled out his statues. He pulled out all his canvases and everything that he had invested in to make it beautiful. And then allowed the Titanic to leave. Yeah. And then sooner or later, that once it sunk, they cashed out. Kind of like what happened with 9/11. They cashed out on a massive insurance claim.
100%, dude, on that too. Well, the trip, though, I also heard that. Tell me if this is legit or not. But who was it? The Rockefellers were supposed to be on that boat, but they knew what was going to happen, so they pulled out. That way they can get rid of their competition.
Rockefellers are funny, bro, because that's not the second time. That's not the first time I heard that. And it's not the second time that they've been involved in politics way before the petroleum area, I want to call. Because we have Rockefeller getting back at the States because they were trying to avoid him from fracking and mining and using and investing more in the motor into motors and into oil, into petroleum. So what did he do? He invested all his money. He gave money to the Department of Education instead, so that then he can control the future masses. You get what I'm saying? That he controls. How do you win over the government? By giving them money, especially back then in those days. And then he was a huge lobbyist for petroleum. So that's not the second time. It's not the first time that they were involved into deep state politician pockets.
Yeah, I got that, man. So, okay, I was watching this other conspiracy podcast. It was on YouTube, but they were saying, like, hypothetically that the Titanic, instead of an iceberg, there was actually an explosion in the hull, and then that's what happened. And they blamed it on an iceberg.
I haven't dived deep into that one. I just recently saw that also on TikTok University. But I'll be honest with you, dog.
Yes.
TikTok University, bro. Everybody knows this, dude. You could become, dog. I learned how to do my oil change and change spare tires and the brakes on my Corolla on YouTube and TikTok University, bro. Yeah, I haven't dived deep into that one, but that's something definitely we got to look into, bro. I just don't know exactly all the details, so I'm not gonna just make it up. But that's insane, bro.
Yeah. So, real quick though. Okay, so basically, going back to the Rockefellers, right? That's what I wasn't learning, but that's what I was hearing was that, of course, JP Morgan and all that, and there were other different financiers and different bankers that weren't being a part of the One World Bank, right? They were basically independent banks, like for the people. And so, how the heck do we take out our competition? Well, let's kill them. So let's make it look like a big accident. So, along with the Titanic, everyone was going on that boat. They were about to. They pulled out. They used mercenaries to set up bombs in there. And next thing you know, everything clacks off. But
coincidentally, and I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart, coincidentally, you never seen a ship of that magnitude, that size and caliber in status and money leave without any safety rafts, without any emergency rafts, right?
Yeah.
There was only a few emergency rafts on that ship. How could they depart? How can they leave without being prepped up in case of an emergency. And then you have all the glorifying of the movie, really making the story out of it. And people just using the movie to getting all their information only from Hollywood. You know what's funny? We even thought last year, where remember that submarine that really got crushed up in the bottom of the sea. Okay, so even that, I didn't go. I was talking to my boys about this on a live a couple months ago, and they were saying that was probably another ritual, another feeding to the dinosaur, another feeding to the dragon, a feeding of another bundle of souls to sacrifice for that same thing. Coincidentally, right? Because it happened. They happened to die in Titanic. Yeah. It's kind of like they go back and they do the same rituals to keep the dragon happy, keep the blood shedding, and keep their goals in line, keep their ducks in a row, keep the money flowing, keep their success going, keep it's just another ritual to keep bringing those souls, innocent people of caliber also and money into the dragon's lair.
100%, man. All they're doing is just slapping a different tactic or a bumper sticker on it. You know what I mean? That's all they're doing, man. So, okay. So with you diving into all this, how does your wife feel about this? Is she on board? Is she cool with it? If you mind me asking?
This is going to get a little personal, and I'm going to give you a story here.
Ooh.
Hopefully this shakes you guys up. Guys, I got into this world of talking out loud about it and not being quiet about it, because I've always been here, just never been talking about it. And just recently, right before we moved to this home, we were going through a trial, through an emotional. We were going through obstacles where I told her, like, you know what, like, if you're not with me, you're gonna be against me, right? You don't like these ideas. You don't like me. You want to get my babies vaccinated and everything. And then her family got involved. Now this is where it gets ugly, because her family got involved, and she comes from a background. She's not a devout, but she comes from a background of apostolic Protestant churchgoers, right? And they're Bible thumpers, and their way is the only way. And this is kind of what I hate when it gets mixed with religion. Their way is the only way, and they're selling salvation. It took them so much energy. We were going to Bible studies. I was trying to stay okay with her, right? I was trying to be close to her and everything. But at the same time, as I'm learning all of these things and I'm learning about their domination, their doctrine, I was trying to ask them the questions. I was trying to tell them why about the tongues and all this stuff, like get deep about their beliefs. And then they end up telling me, like, you know what? You're a threat to her. You're the stone in her way. You're the reason why she hasn't really committed to God. And I'm like, wait, like if you really are, if God's knocking in your door on your heart and you really want to meet God and have a bond with God, you're just going to do it. You're not going to care how other people live, because this is your own salvation. Yeah, so you're telling me it's your own walk. Like, what? How does that? I'm not telling her not to go. I'm here with her. I'm trying to learn with her. The point is, they got so involved into the conversations, into our lives, that they almost made us break up, bro. All because of conspiracy theories, because that's how it started. And then I was like, oh, God, dude. It's kind of ugly how it got there, because it took their pastor to come. It took other people involved in the ministry to come and talk to me. Like, hey, you need to give your God to us. I mean, you need to give your soul to God. And they're like, I know, but you're not asking me to be have a bond with God. You're asking me to have a bond with your building, with your facility, with your... right? With your money. You're not telling me to be close to God. You're asking me to be a part of your congregation for something evil that I don't want to follow. Yeah. And I'm not saying, guys, I'm not bashing on Catholics, and I'm not bashing on anybody else that's happy with where they are. If you're happy, you're content, and you're not hurting anybody, hey, knock yourself out, you know? Your bond and your relationship with God has to be intimate, if anything. I have no say in that, bro. So do not let me persuade you in any way. What I am saying is, what happened to me in my personal life, it was so messed up, because when I got into conspiracy theory, started talking about it, when I would tell my wife about what's going to happen with COVID, about Donald Trump, when I was telling my wife about the things that I was reading online, about Constantine freaking lying about the church, about the Catholics, about when I was really bringing the past into our present life and trying to educate her, she kind of took it in shock. She's like, all I know is being an apostolic Christian, and I think you're lying. I'm like, what? So my voice as a husband is not enough authority for me to tell you, hey, I know this, let's look into it together. No, she don't want to look into it together. She just wanted to believe what her family was saying. So back to your main question. Yeah, bro, it was extremely difficult. Now she don't care.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, she knows I'm the crazy guy.
I got you, man. Well, at first off, too, with me, that's actually how it started, too, man. My wife just thought I was just a nut to go hunt monsters, and dive into conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And Andrew's just a freaking guy in law enforcement who's a SWAT cop going after monsters. So, but the longer I was in it, the more and more she got a little curious, and I didn't like ram it down her throat. I'm like, look, if you got time, check this out. If you want to, if not, it's all good. But I kind of like slid it across the table here. Read that if you got time. And then it started to slowly change the gears, and now she's 100% in it, man. But she's 100%.
Congratulations, bro.
She's ride or die. But it took a lot of praying. It took a lot of just being easy on it. But dude, all I'm saying is, man, just keep in prayer. I'll be praying for you about it, and just keep on it, man. Eventually, the light will kick on. That's all I'm saying. Just be patient. Yeah. Be patient. But
during that time, we had my 3-year-old. She's about to be 3, and she has no vaccines.
Yep.
She was. You do whatever you want with her. I was like, I will. Thank you. So she started giving me more of a respect. Okay, go ahead, Angel. All right, go. What do you want to go? Let's go your route then. And I really appreciate that, if anything, because God was listening to that. And then just recently too, I have 4 months being sober. Thank God. And I'm talking about sober complete, man.
That's awesome, man. Praise God.
Yeah.
Cheers to that, man. And then when you get to 6 months, homie, I have to send you I gotta send you something too, man. Yeah, that's good. That's good. But anyways.
Oh yeah, I got your patch. Actually, you know what? Yeah. I got one of these for you, dude. Next to my bug out. Bam!
There you go.
One of those for you. This is big though. I got a smaller one for you.
There you go. Hey, give a shout out to old Tack Patch on the IG. He makes my patches and he makes all Angels patches too. So shout out to Tack Patch. But I'm actually having to making some more. So I'm gonna send you a patch and our new survival knives that we're actually having make right now. So
snap! You know what? So, allow me to purchase one, bro. That's how you show support to each other, bro. Let me purchase one for you.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh yeah.
So, anyways, but if you guys like fishing, dude, it'll be perfect for you. So
good stuff, man. I really appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, anyways, so off of that, man. So let's keep on rolling. So okay.
Yeah.
So any experiences when it comes to spiritual warfare? Any experiences when it comes to paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, anything like that?
Yeah,
in your life.
Let's hear it. I have. First of all, I'm currently fighting spiritual attacks of addiction, and I'm getting put through the fire, through the ringer, not by God, but by pride and by demonic entities. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, I feel like I'm cleared. My brain's back, my memory's back. Cognitively, I'm doing a lot better. My heart, I know what I want now, and I'm not afraid. And I understand that if I feel nervous, if I have anxiety, or if I have any stress or pain, I have to give that entirely to God and let God deal with that while I worry where only my 2 feet lay. So I'm actually going through spiritual attacks today, yesterday, the day before, every single day. But cryptid wise, I was 22 years old when I think I mentioned this on my episode that I did with you early on. I was 22 years old, got out of jail, and I didn't get out of jail because I was a druggie. I was out there gangbanging. I got out of jail because I assaulted somebody for rape, and I did some time. I came back out. I had no vehicle. I was busting to go back and forth to a new job that I got through a temp agency. So rugged, bro. It was bad. Remember that day, I had no money for weed. I had no money for alcohol. It's a Friday night. Just got out of work and laid down, bro. And my brother, one of my brothers, I have 2 brothers, my adopted brothers. They're twins. One of them was at Texas, the dude that I shared the room with. And Omar was gone. Freddie was out with his girlfriend. So I had the house by myself. I was living with my parents back then, fresh out of jail. I had nowhere else to go. And my brother left a mountain of dirty clothes on his bed before he left chasing that girl in Texas. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to touch his clothes, right? But I remember clearly that night, the window, the curtains were opened and the moonlight was beaming into the room. Cleared skies, very beautiful light outside. And I threw myself back and I'm like, bam, And I'm looking out. I'm just staring. Just those fluoride stares you do when you're just like comfortable stares. You're just staring into like the into the nothing, right? You're just like
into the abyss,
to the abyss of nothingness. You're just like, that's what men are here to do, just doing nothing, right? That's what we all strive to do. Get everything done so that we essentially do nothing. So then I come back and I sit down and I'm just chilling, bro. And I'm looking at the sun and I see the particles of dust and I'm just like, out of nowhere, bro. I see the sheets go like, the sheets like it moved.
Yeah.
Dog, I'm freaking tripping, dude. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what the heck was that? And you know, sometimes you catch things with your peripheral vision and you're like, no, that didn't really happen, right? You're like, you psych yourself out or whatever. I blink and I look back and I fix my stare and boom, I see it again. All right. That's when I shit my bricks, bro. Yeah. I'm like, okay, what the heck? And I went like this, like holding onto my shirt. I got my phone and I went like trying to like run after like what the hell I just saw. And now I'm staring at you, right? I didn't see nothing yet. And then, bro, now mind you, I have a little stone here. So compare this size. The dude was from like my thumb to here. He was tiny.
Oh, like
big head.
Guy, yeah.
It's a little guy, big head, little body, dark skin. He looked, and I did my research back then. It was called a Brownie. He popped his head out, bro, and he's like this. And he looks at me, bro. We stare at each other, dog, for like 2-3 seconds, and we're staring at each other. I'm like, what am I looking at, right? And the dude's like, he looks at me. He goes, boom. He hides, and in split second, bro, he jumps. Now we didn't have flat screens. We had they're like half flat screens. They were high definition TVs, but they still had a bump in the back, right? They weren't completely flat. Sorry. He jumps behind the TV, and I hear him. And then I'm like, what the hell? And at this point, bro, I'm like in shock, but I'm still following him with my eyes. So my body's in like still, and I'm like this now. And I'm looking at him, and he jumps behind the TV. And then I hear footsteps, like human footsteps, like pop, pop, pop. Right? And I hear my dad. So my father's opening up his room, bro. And I'm like, what the heck? And I look at him and he goes, I didn't close my door completely. My door was like inches open. Mm-hmm. So he looks at me like this behind the TV, like this. And then he jumps out. He leaves through my door and dashes out, bro. In half a second, my father opens his door of his room and walks to the restroom in the middle of the night, bro. I'm talking about like it's 12:31 a.m. And I'm like, what? Dude, I didn't sleep for like, dude, I went to sleep like around 4:50, dude. It was already coming. The sun was coming out when I fell asleep because I was like, what the heck was that? I walked out to the backyard. I came back in. I didn't want to wake up my mother. A couple hours forward, a couple hours after, I come up to my mom and I tell her, my mom, rest in peace. I tell my mom, Jefa, ¿qué cree? And she's like, ¿qué pasó, mijo? That means like, mom,
what's up? What's going
happened? Yeah, and I'm like, and I told her, I seen a duende. And she goes, ¿qué? I'm like, mom, I seen a duende. I swear, dude. And she looks at me. She's like, mijo, cálmate. It's okay. She goes, calm down. I've seen him too. Relax. Don't worry about it. Don't talk about it. Don't think about it. Don't leave offerings. Don't do nothing. If he lets you see him, he lets you see him. Let it go. I'm like, what?
Just why let it go. This?
What do you mean let it go, mom? You're freaking crazy. No. She's like, no, don't let him go. He might come up again. He might come and get some of your stuff. If he doesn't, let it go. He liked you. Let him go. She told me that when she was a kid back in Mexico, that she used to go. She used to have like a big like a grazing place where they have like cows and stuff, and they had like a little pond, and it had trees. They had vegetation around the little pond. She said that she would go with pesos, with like little pesos, right? Money. And she would throw it where the bushings would be. And she would see them play, jump into the puddle, come back, and she would see them play. Yeah. And I told her, like, you would see them. Like, yeah, mijo. Like, I'm like, how the hell does that happen? Later on, I started conversating with Bo from the Bump podcast. You gotta collaborate with him. He's a big Bigfoot guy too. Excuse me. He He told me, Angel, unfortunately, and this is his point of view, right?
Yeah.
If it's not godly, it's the other guys. And I'm like, damn. Then I spoke with you, and then you told me almost the same thing. You told me, I think these guys are interdimensional demons and stuff. And I was like, oh, snap. So yeah, I had an encounter with a duende, bro. And I'm 34 years old now, and I remember that like if it happened last night. It hasn't faded.
Dude, that's a trip. I got this book on like demonology and stuff. So it has basically it's what it is. It's basically like an encyclopedia of all the demons that have been recorded throughout the years since like the beginning of time. But they actually talk about like small people, right? They call them. My dad used to call them monitos, is what he'd call them. So, but in the Asian culture, one of my good buddies, Nick, all his family were from like the Philippines, right? So he used to tell me about that whenever I used to hang out at his house or whatever. He's like, hey, it's like, if the keys end up missing, just let you know. They call them like pequas or something like that. Mm-hmm. So he's like, if your keys end up missing, dude, they will show back up somewhere random in the house. So don't worry, you'll get them back. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Well, we're sitting down. This happened like 2004. We're sitting down, just watching like rugby and stuff. I'm hearing like keys jingling because I used to always go in his house. I'd set my keys, like I'm laying down on his couch. I'd freaking set my keys like on his windowsill right there. And we're just watching. All of a sudden, I hear my keys jingling and I look. I don't see him no more. And I hear him behind the couch on the floor, kind of like if something's dragging him. I get up real quick and they just stop. They're right there on the floor. And he's like, oh, bro, it's the freaking pequot again running around. I was like, what the freak, dude? So that totally opened up my imagination and like my like freaking theories and everything on it. So I started diving deep into that too, man. Like the little people.
Snap. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I started diving deep into that too. But yeah, man, dude, they have them everywhere, bro. They got just like cryptids too, They got them all over the world, bro. So, but yeah, to me, I actually seen a lot of videos in like South America of these things running around, They just call them, you can go anywhere, bro. In Europe, whatever, bro. In Europe, they call them gnomes, right? And all kinds of stuff. But yeah, man, I totally 100% believe you on that, bro.
I was reading on just recently that somebody told me that they came on ships. I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, they told me they came on ships while they were trying to colonize the United States. I was like, what?
Yeah, they freaking hitched a ride, man.
They hitched a ride. I'm like, dude, these guys are sophisticated as hell. Damn, bro. It gets me. You know why I connect to it? Because I've seen it.
Yeah.
Some people, I've had a couple of friends on. I'm not gonna mention their names, but they're like, oh yeah, I talk to fairies, and I have fairies all over my house, and I'm like, okay, I believe you, but sometimes I ran into this people. I had inquiries over your reality. He was like, dude, I've seen them too. I was like, wait, get the hell out, bro. There's more of me. There's more of me that really witnessed these little creatures. Now, my mom told me not to leave them any offerings. Then I found out recently, also when I did the research on that you're not supposed to leave them offerings. They get offended. So if you give them like a sock or clothes or anything, they'll get offended. They'll chase you around, and they'll chase you through generations. So it's like a crow. You heard a crow, and the crow will remember your face and then hunt you, and then the hate will be so deep that the babies of that crow will then also remember you if they see you, that you hurt one of their ancestors. And it's the same thing. It's like generational hate, bro.
It's like generational curses, man. So it sounds like generational curses.
That's biblical, dog. That's biblical, bro. That was insane, man. So yeah, it's a trip. Yeah, there's brownies, duendes, alps. I did also a deep dive with my best friend on a dude that he was in Mexico. He was a musician. He was an accordion player, and the dude, they finished doing like a set. They played for a party. It was late. He had to walk, and mind you, still to this day, many rural areas of Mexico have no light, bro. They're just rock paths, right? When you go through these villages. So this is like third world, bro. He's walking down this path, and he encountered a couple of these little duendes on the way to his pad, and time stopped. So they asked him, "Play music for us, and we'll pay you." He started playing music. 20 years passed by while he was playing music. He got out of that trance or that dimension of that, whatever it was, time lapse.
Yeah.
And he's walking, and then he gets home. His wife is older. His kids are older. His wife has remarried. And he looks at her. She looks at him, and she's like, "Where were you at this entire time?
Yeah.
Where you been? Your children have been waiting for you. We you know what happened to you? We thought you were dead." He was still with his accordion on, bro. Haven't aged anything. Insane, bro. Yeah.
Well, that's funny because to me, I called it like a 20 and back. The reason why I call it that is because I interviewed this guy probably like my first year. Jessica Jones hooked me up with him. His name is Tony. Oh my gosh, I'll get his information for you. But his name's, I forgot his last name. Tony Rodriguez is what it is. Tony Rodriguez. He actually did a 20 and back is what it was. So basically, in a nutshell, he was going to like this private school, right? So it was basically for like gifted kids. So this one guy he didn't like, okay? He got to school, walked up. This girl he liked was talking to this dude he didn't like. And she was like, "Hey, Tony, this guy can literally tell you anything that you're thinking in your head." And he's all bull crap. So he's like, "All right, I'll test it out." Well, he thought of something so bad that kid looked at him and was like, "Why the hell would you even think that about me? Why would you say that?" And Tony's like, "What are you talking about?" So he told Tony what he said and what he was thinking. And Tony was like, "I wasn't thinking that." And he's like, "Yeah, you were." He goes, "I don't know what your problem is with me, but dude, what the freak?" So after that, Tony's like, F you, whatever. Well, later on that week, it was on a Friday, they actually had like a science competition. So as he was walking to his table in the gymnasium, he passed that kid. Well, that kid was with his dad. And that kid pointed him out. "Hey, Dad, that's the guy who thought those things about me in his head." Well, he looked at him and he's like, "Son, I'm going to teach you how to use your resources," right? Turns out that that guy's dad was in like high up in the Illuminati, right? So later on that night, when Tony went to bed after the whole science fair and all that stuff, he woke up. It was thunder and lightning. He woke up with the water dripping on his face, right? Well, he saw a gray alien above him looking at him, right? Well, he thought it was his older brother. His older brother basically used to play pranks on him all the time. So he went to freaking adjust himself and he slapped him like, "Hey, go back to bed. Get away from me." Well, when he did that, he said that when his hand smacked the alien's face, it almost felt like chicken skin, right? And he realized this thing's real and water's still dripping on me. So when he smacked it, that alien moved its head and came back over him. Next thing you know, Tony said, like, I couldn't move. I had like sleep paralysis. Next thing I know, 2 more aliens walking through my door. One of them is 6 foot. The other one's 3 foot. And telepathically, they're telling me, "Hey, we're going to take your consciousness for 20 years. But we're going to bring you, after you're done, we're going to bring you exactly right back to the same spot you're in right now. Just 20 seconds from now."
Whoa.
So they took his subconscious. He did a whole different life out there in outer space for 20 years. And then after it was done, they put him right back, right in his bed, 20 seconds later. So he had all this information. He remembers
this?
Well, hold on real quick. So they kind of like put like a blockage, right? So when he came back, he said instead of on the bed, he was actually on the floor, but his clothes were all inside out. His socks were off. His pants were flipped around. His shirt was half on. And he was like, "What the frick is going on?" So he didn't really think of anything. Well, years later, certain things started to jog his memory, like certain sounds, certain smells. Next thing you know, all this flood of memories just started coming back to him. And then he went to like a hypnotherapist, right? And everything came out, dude. And he was like, "What the freak?" So then after that, he started to tell his story. Dude, it was insane, dude. But the whole 20 and back, man, I 100% believe that. And finding out, too, talking with him, talking with certain people in the CDC and stuff like that, there are super secret space programs that actually do that. Yeah, it was
insane. That's insane. Yeah. That's incredible. time lapse, and then the uh I think teleporting from one spot to another. So we're reading on this story of the kid, two children playing also in Mexico. Sorry. Got lost. The kid, I guess, encountered these little people that wanted to play with him. He was playing for a while, and he was only missing for 2-3 hours, but he was 50 miles down the road, bro.
Yeah.
And didn't even know how the kid got there. The mother was searching for him. The authorities were searching for him. They found him 50 miles in a different village. But how did you get here? The kid didn't remember. I was just playing with these little people. Then they let me go. They let me go? What do you mean they let you go, dude? How do they have you? How were you in that trance? It's man, so many questions in my head. But yeah, man, that's crazy. You know the CIA. I was doing a deep dive, and not to change the subject, right? But it kind of gets in there. It's zombies. I had Conplan 8888. Have you ever heard of that?
Never heard of it.
Oh, check this out. So this is something that's one of the early stage topics on Paranoi. Conplan 8888 is a defense maneuver strategy plan that the Department of Defense has adopted and trained for in case of a zombie apocalypse.
Wait a minute, I've heard that. Yes, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, they actually have contingency plans and stuff like that if a zombie apocalypse ever breaks out.
It's insane. And then they have categorized the eight types of zombies. One of them was a space zombie. We have the voodoo zombie, chicken zombie, vegetation zombie. Don't ask me how I know this and what the hell is a vegetation zombie, but they exist. If you don't believe me, hashtag look it up. It only takes 5 seconds of your time to go to the search bar, stop death scrolling on TikTok University, watching ass. Believe me or not, Conplan 8888 is a real thing. Coincidentally, in 2020, the CDC released a zombie apocalypse survival guide poster for everybody that worked at the CDC. Then they made that thing go viral on all social media platforms. Another thing that you guys got to look up with the CDC badge on it. It has a little logo on the bottom and everything. And I checked it about a week ago to see if the website still had it. It's still there, but it's not like clickable anymore. It's just now it doesn't have all the pamphlets and all the brochure stuff anymore. It just has like very briefly what it was. But yeah, man, Conplan 8888 only makes you think, wait, if our military has a plan, contingency plans, defense plans for a possible zombie apocalypse outbreak, and then you told me about the critter hitters on our episode, what more can they be hiding, bro? You know, how deep can this rabbit hole go? What have they been hiding us at plain sight? What are we living in right now? It makes me not only question reality, but question the existence of, you know, these three-letter agencies and duendes and stuff. And how can they be weaponized? Are they weaponized? Have they been weaponized already? And so many other questions, bro. The paranoia kicks in.
Dude, personally, I think a lot of these things have been weaponized. You know, they always try to use it to their favor, you know, just basically just like the whole like super secret soldier program, right? Yeah, when it comes to when it comes to Dogman, little people, Bigfoot, aliens, whatever, you know what I mean? And what was a trip though is rolling back to what you were talking about the whole little people thing. I was talking to oh gosh, why am I forgetting his name? His podcast is Tommy from Let's Get Freaky podcast. We were talking about it, I guess, in Europe, because that's where he's from. He's from like London, England. That's basically his area. Mm-hmm. I was looking up some stuff, but I guess apparently they've had cases go all the way back to like medieval times, right? To where people have written down on little people. They said to be careful if you're traveling in the forest, right? The little people will coax you, right? And they will get you lost. Well, if you look at the whole setup of how those little people acted, right? And you compare it to the alien agenda, right? Well, a lot of these people have missing time, okay? They're like miles away, just like you said with that kid, okay? They have no idea what the hell happened. They're gone in their head for maybe like 5 minutes. In reality, it's like almost like 20 years, or it could be a week, it don't matter. But all these are the same way and same aspects of how alien abduction works. It's just a different bumper sticker slapped on it. That's all it is.
I was about to tell you that. In Asia, you have the same thing. I had a Vietnamese. No. I have one of my best friends back then. He started a show called. Forgot the name of the show. He got into holistics and stuff. He got really deep into like mushroom eating and all that stuff. But his name is Leroy, and he's from Guam. So, yo, Leroy, if you're still around and you're still listening to the show, bro, shout out to Mad Love, bro. He goes, in Guam, his ancestors would come and visit you, and they had, so for example, your house would be sitting at the line of what becomes forest. You can't cross the forest. You can't pee in the forest. You can't poop in the forest. You can't pick vegetation or fruits or anything from the forest unless you've asked permission to the ancestor spirits. And every so often, you could, if you do go into the forest, you would get lost because these spirits will hunt you down and make sure you never came back out of the forest. So in order to go into the forest and come back safe, you needed to ask for permission and bring tributes to these spirits. Again, spirits, little people, alien abductions, lots of time, teleportation, all slapped by another crazy little sticker telling you a different name of what these entities really are and what they're here to do, actually.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the whole Wendigo system when it comes to that. You know, like the Cryptid, the Wendigo, right?
No, you know who mentioned that? Joey.
Oh, Joe? Yeah. Yeah, well, Kevin, one of my other good buddies, for Where the Weird Ones Are podcast. You know Kevin?
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna link you guys up. Anyways,
awesome.
He lives up in Maine, and then my buddy Kenny Trudeau, he actually has a radio show too. It's called the Star Fox Podcast, but they live up in Maine. They have like a Wendigo problem is what it is. So Wendigo is basically what they are. I'm sure Joe told you the whole punchline of what they are, right? So how they do is for anybody who's hiking, anybody who's a mountaineer, survivalist, whatever, if you're going out to these forest areas and stuff like that, they said to be careful for these Wendigos. So they trip you up. If you're wearing a compass, your compass totally doesn't know what the heck north, south, east, or west is. They totally cloud you. They put like this almost kind of like a different atmosphere over you to what you're seeing isn't reality. And that's how you freaking get lost, right? And then eventually these things hunt you down, they kill you, and they eat you. So even like the Native Americans talk about that up in the north, to be careful with these Wendigos. It's just everything. Just to me, it just rolls into all kinds of stuff, dude.
I don't know if you got in contact with what's her name, Chanel from Bigfoot Bites. I think I sent you her thing, her Instagram page. She has a huge following, and she used to hunt Bigfoot. And she told me that happened to her a couple of times, and it happened to her one time when she was in her vehicle. Now, this is from the little bit of information she gave me, guys. So again, the story evolves and it kind of becomes it becomes legend, it becomes myth. But she told me she was in her car and she has that video on Instagram. So you guys gotta go check that out, bro. She goes, she's in the car and you could hear the animal come out of nowhere, bro. And it's in the middle, like the creature, and it's breathing on the backside of the car, and you could hear like heavy breathing, and it's like making scratch noises on the trunk. And she's like, get away. She's like breathing hard, and you could hear it, and you could hear her breathing hard. So you could tell it's like, oh, there's something outside of her car. And then she said that she got into her car and she left that day, but she goes, the point of the story is, she said, by any means, when you're hunting, when you're talking about going to look for these animals, for these creatures, I suggest you do not go unprepared and go open-minded, and always go with at least 2-3 cars and a lot of more people, because there's less possibilities of you getting lost and dying. It's a dangerous sport. So when you're out there, things really do happen. When you go into the woods with that intent, things really do happen. And when you're by yourself, you're going to get off slipping. You're in their domain, you're going to get catch slipping, right? So it's very important to practice going in there with a sober thought, first of all. And second, being prepared, just like you guys do in your squads.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that's That's definitely one thing I actually had to learn the hard way too. Yeah, talking to a couple of buddies of mine who are actually critter hitters and stuff. Like their number one rule is don't go out with the team less than 5. So
Mhm.
that's number one rule for all these guys who go out there and who go Bigfoot researching and stuff like that. Who go solo, dude. Okay, as a straight up bushcraft and survivalist, number one, you never ever want to go out alone. If something happens, bro, you're freaking screwed right off the bat. Anyway, not only that, like you said, you're dealing with these creatures in their home turf, dude. You know, and yeah, and not only that too. Also too, I think what helps us out a lot too is before we even step foot and go into the forest, we pray up. We also ask God to forgive us for all our sins too, because we don't want to go in there not going on a certain mission, not being able to before ask God for forgiveness for anything we did. We want to go in with a clean slate, hands down, and that definitely helps us out a lot, to deal with these things. Because if you don't, fear pops up, regret pops up, all these things pop up that these entities just pour at you, and next thing you know, you're caught up in their war instead of them caught up in your war. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. It's crazy, bro. It's do you I don't want to like change the subject, but don't you think these things is covered, like the things that are happening in the woods, 411, kids missing, the time lapse, people having to say, oh yeah, they prolapsed me. I mean, not prolapsed, they probed me and all this other stuff. um did, I asked Chanel the same thing. Do you think that these things are here because we cut a deal with these aliens, like they say, like dumbing it down, make it into human logic, trying to understand what's not meant to be understood by God, or is it just spiritual entities roaming around this earth, shape shifting and creating havoc?
I think it's both, but I also try to go off like the whole biblical narrative, right? So the Bible is my lighthouse. So I'm going to give you a verse to look up, and this is always what I go by. So I do believe these things are both, right? I do believe if you go out researching them, you might find what you don't want to find. Also, too, I do believe these things are spiritual. I do believe there are 3 aspects of them. They're physical, they're spiritual, and they're interdimensional. And the fourth one is they're basically man-made too. But if you look up, I always go by this. If you look up Revelations chapter 6 verses 8, it basically states that with the fourth horseman, right? The rider on the red horse the rider on the black horse, death and Hades follows him. But also too, he's going to take out a third of the earth with plagues, diseases, plagues, famine, all this stuff. But also the beasts of the field and the beasts of the earth are going to eat humans as well.
Whoa.
Yeah. So Revelation chapter 6 verses 8. Check that out. So the difference between my guys and everybody else is that we don't go out just to go look for these things. We go out if people are actually needing help, right? So if people write us emails or anything like that, or like, hey, we don't know what to do. All right, we'll go out there, we'll check it out, but if we need to take action, we freaking take action. But other than that, us just going out just because, you're kind of playing with fire. So with us, if we have a certain thing going on, if someone writes us an email or if we get a hot tip, something in a certain area, we definitely pray over it. We freaking fast over it. And there's been a lot of times when God's like, no. And I always get a feeling on it like, okay, now guys, let's just kind of push this one to the side. Let's just wait for the next one. So, just try to.
And people are evil, bro. People are evil, bro. There's people out there, bro, that are practicing the black arts on purpose, and they're only calling in for people to walk into their trap so that they could sacrifice you to the horned one, bro. Believe it or not, it's just, you walk in, he sees some crazy stuff. I have one more story.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Some cryptid stuff. So I was summoned to be on Nephilim Death Squad to share this part of my life. Now, this didn't happen to me, but my mother, my biological mother, she's from Guatemala. She was the 11th kid my grandmother had. So as my grandmother was hanging clothes, she basically just had her out, pulled her out the placenta, pulled out all the cables, and threw her in the trash. Dang. My mom's grandmother picked her up which makes that my great grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Picked her up and raised her as her own.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that was my great grandmother was a shapeshifter. She would turn into a hog and murder the men that she would sleep with. Now,
Gotcha.
mind you, in these villages, if you sleep with the married man, the women of the village join up and they stone you to death. Still to this day,
Yeah.
look it up. It's a trip. It's a tradition. So, so they came, they stoned her to death, murdered her. My mom went crazy as a teenager, young teenager. At the age of 12, she witnessed the stoning. And she lived by herself in the same little cabin, freaking aluminum rooftop that they used, and she used to sleep on a hammock. My mother had long black hair, and she would open it up, right, untangle it, throw it over the side of the hammock, and sleep. And every night, her grandmother would visit her and braid her hair every night. It got my mom into a craze. My mom started practicing some arts, and she
Yeah.
was a medium talking to dead people. So people would pay her to come and talk to their ancestors. Then my mother, after what happened was they were gonna kill my mother as well, and she fled and she came to the States, met my dad, had me, and now she's out there in Guatemala again. I'm not
Mm.
sure if she's still practicing the stuff. I lost communication with her. However, um, it's I'm not sure if that's that curse, and that's why I pray to God and I pray over my kids every single day, because not that I care where I came from, not that I'm like, oh, I'm cursing it, because I'm not. That had it happens for me to be here today, right? It's
Mm.
all God given. God allowed it to happen, and I'm here today. But breaking that generational curse is very important. Believe it or not, a lot of the things that I go through today, fighting every single day not to touch alcohol, not to touch that bag of fucking meth, and all the other stuff that I used to dive deep to, it takes a lot of energy. But even that is an attachment of that trauma in my DNA, of that trauma that I did in
Mm.
my spirit because of my parents and because of my mother. Not only my mother, who knows what my father's family did, right? But just the short amount of information that I have heard only tells me like, okay, well, that's where I've come from, and that's where I need to avoid. That's what's more subjective for me to eat, do, digest. That's what I'm attracted to, the darkness and all that stuff. That's what I need to break. And yeah, man, I just wanted to share that with you because me seeing that duende wasn't a coincidence.
Yeah.
Me seeing that duende had to have a connection of some type of entity that was trying to like, hey, look into this.
Mm-hmm.
Come over here. Do some research over here. Let me show you what you can do. Look where you come from. I would have been a different human being today. Probably
Yeah.
hurting animals or other people, sacrificing things. Unholy things, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Satan does definitely make it enticing for sure, man. Not only that, dude, you are 100% right when it comes to family curses and stuff, man. Like, because a lot of people don't know what their forefathers did, and a lot of people don't know what what like their genealogy and their family and stuff were into, you know. So, and hey, bro, I definitely applaud you, man. I'm definitely the same way, man. I'm freaking sober for God since 2022, man. Yeah,
Woo!
from yeah, man. When it comes to with me, I was definitely into I'm just gonna call it out. I was actually just addicted to all kinds of things when it comes to sex, porn, stuff like that, and and with the whole sex rituals and stuff like that. And then when it comes to alcohol, whatever, and but all that stems from like you said, pride. You know, it stems from the curses of your family. But there's one thing that one of the guys that I was going through Celebrate Recovery with, good friend of mine, Simon, shout out to him. He looks like Francis Chan. But he wrote this thing because he was actually going through the same thing I was. Him and I went through this 12-step program together, and we came out of it and we graduated, right? But he wrote this saying. It says, I am going to be the one that breaks the chains. I am going to be the one that breaks the curses and that stops this. That way my son don't have to do it. I'm going to be the one to do it, and that put a fire in me, to do the same thing. Because for one, I actually have two daughters, and my youngest, it totally transformed me when I had a son, because it put a big time longing in my heart. Like, I do not want my son to go through the same things and for my curses of my family to pass on to him. It stops with me, and I applaud anybody else if they're, just like you, if they're going through the same thing, you guys got any inklings of stopping, do it. Get help. Do what you need to do. If you got kids, man, let that be the fire in your ass to do it, because you do not want your kids to go through the same things you do. So cheers to that, man. I'm proud of you, AG. Hell yeah, bro.
Thank you, man. I
Good
appreciate
stuff,
that, bro.
man.
Yeah. I'm proud of you too, man. That's a lot. So that was an inspiring conversation. I just wish a lot of people take this home and resonate with it and connect with it. And if you guys have the opportunity, share those moments with people. If you have that today in the morning, I got a text from one of my very good friends, and I'm not gonna call him out like that, but he broke his sobriety last night. He blew some steam on some other podcaster. He himself is a huge podcaster, and I'm like, dog, you broke your sobriety, bro. And I was looking up to you, dude. And I'm like, bro, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you freaking call me? You could have just picked up the phone and said, yo, Trebs, what's up? Yo, I want to drink right now, dude. What the hell do I do? Talk to me. Let's get on the mic and conversate. I'm not gonna let you slip, bro. You know what I mean? Like, come on, get up. So yeah, like it's kind of like, damn, bro, like ask for help. A lot of the times, me, bro, when I was trying to like drag my ass because I was having an issue, I was too busy thinking I need to be a man, I need to man up, get a freaking beer, drink my life away. And then I find myself digging myself out of a bigger hole before. And no, then before, like, no, if I would have maybe reached out to my best friend and told him, yo, bro, let's go get some chicken wings. Let's go watch a movie, dog. Let's go play Pokemon cards. Yeah, like do something. Let's something different than just the freaking bottle. And that's where it all starts. And what you said, bro, really resonates because I'm not sure how long we have here, bro.
You good, man? You good?
My even that the exposure, you open that up right now too. That you remember that it made me bring that back out of my memory. Sex. When I used to do meth, I had this shadow crawl over my brain, and I felt the hand. I felt the shadow all over my eyes. The moment it hit my brain, something took over my brain. The voices in my ears started, and I was always looking for porn or different things. When I was younger, I was working for the adult industry before I got into podcasting, before I had my babies, and I got exposed to swinger parties. The dude, it's funny that we said that. Because the dude that invited me to the swinger party, he himself was a SWAT member also. He was dating one of my friends at Leg Avenue, this lingerie place that I was working at. And we got invited to one of his parties, and debauchery, it was perversity. It was crazy, bro. It was insanity. And I've been invited a couple times, and I was exposed to things that a person in their a father, first of all, a God-fearing man would consider unholy, consider perverse, and you wouldn't want your freaking kids going to those and seeing those type of things, especially if you have daughters. Yeah. So I'm like, damn, dog, the things that I've avoided in my life, not only in the rave scene, not only in the party scene, not only in the freaking drug scene, but in the adult industry scene. And it's a testimony, bro. It's a testimony that I was able to get out of there, come here, and then today tell you as a podcaster, like, bro, I'm sober, and then you sharing that information too after so many years. 2022, bro, that was when my baby was born, bro. It's crazy, dog.
Yeah, what's the trip too is like in scripture it talks about, alcohol, all this stuff, all that are sins outside of the body, right? But when it comes to sexual immorality, it's inside the body. And what really hit me too was after reading that, it says it grieves the Holy Spirit. So I looked more into that. It's basically like grieving it, right? It's almost like with me, when I was struggling hardcore with it, right? Even though I knew it was wrong, I'd still go ahead and do it because I was prideful, right? Something I wanted, like my flesh, like our flesh don't care, right? Because for one, our flesh isn't spending eternity. Our soul is. Our soul cares where we're going to go, because either we're going to be with God or we're going to be in hell, right? But our flesh don't care because our flesh is going to be eternal. So party it up, do what you want to do. But also too, with grieving the Holy Spirit, man, this pastor broke it down for me. He said that it's basically like you getting the Holy Spirit, beating the crap out of him, taping him up, and you are doing the act in front of him over and over and over again. Dude, when I heard that, I broke down crying, dude. I literally I felt so much remorse. I felt so much guilt. Like I told the Holy Spirit, I am so sorry for doing that to you over and over and over again. But hey, but you know what, dude? But either way, I look at Christianity as like a greasy rope, right? Either you're climbing or you're slipping. There's no hanging in between, dude. So, for people who are struggling, dude, you're not perfect. You are going to slip up, but as long as you're creating barriers, as long as you're creating protocols to keep trying to get better, that's all Jesus looks at, man. And he will help you along the way.
There you go. Yeah. That was massive. That's crazy. I told my boy, we're all human, bro. We could all slip. We're all human.
Yeah.
But if you could have called, you could have called. You should have. If you would have called me and then you would have drank, I get it. You tried. Bam. But now I'm going to criticize the crap out of you because you could have called and you didn't, freaking guy. Anyway.
Yeah, and you know what, dude? And that is the beautiful thing about like accountability, because when I was going through this, man, when I went to my first Celebrate Recovery, right, I didn't realize how many dudes were struggling the same way I was. I thought I was the only one, man, right? I'm like, how could God love someone like me if I did all this stuff, right? Not realizing all these dudes are in the same boat, bro, but they're just at different levels, man. And that's the thing, too, is accountability, bro. We all got to be here for each other, dude. There's been a lot of times where I was struggling, and then I have all like my accountability brothers in the group texts. And the thing is that I used to send out, hey, guys, I'm struggling. And I put it out there. I'm like, crap, why did I do that? Because, well, it was the right thing to do. But in reality, like my flesh didn't want to put that out there because I wanted to do the dirty deed. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Right away, though, as soon as that text happened, my boys hit me up. Hey, call me now. Hey, what are you doing? Andrew, stop looking at your phone. Whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So all you guys got to find is accountability. But there's also people that you can trust and people that you can't trust. So some people are safe, some people aren't. But that's the thing about trial and error. But, that's just the hard thing about having like accountability, man. You got to have accountability partners. You have to. You cannot do this alone, man. You cannot.
In December, bro, I went through that shit. In December, I went to go get a burger down the street, and I didn't have a vehicle because I lost it because I was drunk and I was acting stupid in the street and left it abandoned. I went through the whole 9 yards with the law and stuff, bro. So I was like, okay. I walked there and I was like, my wife is freaking pissed. My daughter, my oldest, she can't see me. She hates me. She wants to go on vacation with her my mother-in-law. And I'm like, okay, well, what the hell? I only got is my toddler, and I can't be walking the street with her in Huntington Park, one of the dangerous cities in LA. So I'm like, I'm going to walk, go get me a burger. Got me a burger, came back, bro, and I'm walking in the fry across the street, right? And I have maybe 2 blocks to get to my house. And I see the little South Korean little liquor store, and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, if I buy a beer right now, no one's gonna know. Then I kept walking. As I kept walking, I seen the front door. I'm like, you know what that last breath you do right before you're gonna commit a sin, like, like you're about to. And then I was like, no, I'm going to know that I drank that beer. What am I gonna tell everybody, that I just started drinking again after everything that happened 2 weeks ago? Freak that, dude. And I watched and I shoved my mouth with food, and I just got home. I was like, thank God. That was probably one of the hardest moments I went through during my entire life, man. To say that breath.
I hear that, dude. And what's funny was when I was actually going through my counselor, he talked about addiction too. He's like, look, dude, if you're addicted to food, alcohol, whatever, he's like, look, just hypothetically, like scientifically, he said, for people who are addicts, look, just hold on 20 minutes. Just hold on for 20 minutes. And then you realize that addiction kind of just passed for now. You know what I mean? So if you're struggling, just hold on for 20 minutes, hold on for 30 minutes, go get distracted, go do push-ups, go do something, and then next thing you know, oh, okay, I feel better now. I didn't do it. And then you feel more fired up, hey.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That shit happens all the time. I did that today. I stopped by today. Now that I have a car, thank God, I stopped by and got myself a little 6-pack of 00 Heineken.
Yeah.
and then the little Asian dude looks at me and goes, 00, huh? I was like, yeah, I stopped drinking a while ago. He's like, good for you. Good for you. Then I was like, and then those are expensive too. Whatever. Like, you fucking paid them and came back home. And then whenever I get mad because I want to drink or whatever, same thing. Push-ups, jump in there, just boom, boom, just push them out, and then go shower, 10 minutes later, and like nothing happened. Because that
Yeah,
war is
dude.
inside of you, dude. That
It
war
is,
is in
man.
your head, right? You're fighting that freaking demon. It's hard for people to explain it. And it's even harder for people that are less addictive, have a less addictive personality to understand it. It's really hard, especially your spouse, people that you hurt, to understand you
Yep.
after you hurt them. It's even worse.
Yep.
But hey, in all due time, God is big. He's here to help. And search out to your brothers.
100% on that too. And another thing on another note too, that's why it's so important, to read your Bible and to memorize scripture, because it's been a lot of times with that too. Been waiting 20 minutes, bro, and still hanging, like just busting out that Bible and just reading and quoting scripture out loud, man. You'll be surprised how much the atmosphere around you changes, dude. It's a trip, man. Yeah, it's just a little food.
I like that. I like that.
Slow food.
Yeah, man. Bro. Thank you again, bro. I really appreciate it, bro.
Anything else, man, you want to talk about?
No, we're good, man. We're good. No, Galatians, I think that's the right word. Galatians 6:7. It says that you can't lie to God. You can't lie to God. You could lie to everybody else. You could lie to yourself, but you can't lie to God. If you plant seeds of corruption, that's what you're going to sow. And believe me, bro, when I was crashing that South Korean little liquor store, bro, I'm telling you, man, that's the first thing that kicked in my head. I was like, oh, man, I'm a no. I'm going to start loving myself.
Yeah.
And that's something too. Self-love and self-preservation.
Yeah. What's funny too is that going through this CR program, I didn't even know they made like beer like that. I didn't know that until my buddy Simon brought the Heineken over and it was 0.0. I was like, what the hell is that? He's like, it's not alcoholic. I'm like, oh, so we're just drinking like you basically just like went to Spencer's and got like that flavored beer water is what it is. He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Dude, hey, dude, look, you know what, bro? Today was a little hot in LA. Today was like the sun was beating. Dude, I cracked it open. I was like, that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
baby.
Yeah.
It gave it to me. It helped. It helped ease the tension. I was like, hell yeah, dude. I feel good. And then there's no aftermath anymore. There's no freaking war at home, and I get to focus on doing stuff. I guarantee you this, bro. If I would have been here 4 months ago and you would have asked me to do this show 4 months ago, bro, I probably would have been freaking buzzed right now, drunk, slurring my words, probably even doing worse of damage that I've ever done.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad God's got you on the right path, man, for sure. You got anything in closing, brother? If anybody listening, I'm gonna throw. I'm gonna put you on the spot again. If anyone's dealing with addiction or anything like that, what advice would you give them?
The first thing you got to do, bro, drop everything. You have to understand that you don't control nothing. You don't control where your 2 feet lay. You need to thank God for what you have. You need to thank God for the breath that you woke up, the side, the bed, the warmth you have, the food in your stomach. You need to face God before anything. I thought I had it all under control, but I didn't. I thought that I was going to be able to defeat the addiction by myself. I failed after fail after fail. I thought that I made people love me, that I've created things enough to be stable, that I'm financially safe. I thought that you're in your mental and your human logic, you think that you are in control, but you're not. Not in the calendar, not in the timing. This is not your world. This is God's timing. This is God's world. He created you. The moment you face him, the moment you thank God, don't ask God for anything. Thank him first and watch everything come in. Not only the guidance, but the strength inside to say one more day without beer, one more day without that substance. God is going to provide you, but you need to reach out and help yourself. Self-love, self-preservation, and thanking God on a daily dose. That is the best thing I can tell you, bro. I started this route pretending to be a podcaster, pretending to be someone, pretending to be a father, even because I was fading to the most important people of my life, my kids. I was pretending. Now I'm not anymore. Now I know what I want. And it took me 4 months to understand it. And I'm going to go on to 6, and I'm going to go on to 6 years after. But now that God gave me, I gave God the thanks, the gratitude, the love, the attention, put him first. And then all of a sudden, bro, it became clear. A man on a mission. Now My happiness doesn't depend on a bottle. My happiness doesn't depend on substances or even my wife. Even it doesn't depend on another human being. It depends now on myself. What am I going to do to treat myself first? How am I going to give God the attention he needs, the love he needs? Your audience is not your kids. Your audience is not your podcast audience. Your audience is one, and it's God, making him happy. And then everything falls into place, bro. And that's the best I can tell you based off my experience only. Unfortunately, there's people out there that are having it a lot worse. And for those people that are already deep into it, man, prayer and reach out to the little bit of family you have left, and hope. Believe it or not, hope is, I'm gonna say this like Star Wars, bro. Leia once said, hope is like the sun. If you only believe in it when it's light outside. No, when you only believe in it when you can see it, you'll never make it through the night. So
come on. Cheers to that, brother. That was good, man. Well said, my friend. And it also brings me back to Ephesians 6:12, guys. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers in the high places, guys. So it isn't just flesh we're wrestling against. It's something behind it, too. So, yeah, cheers to that, brother. Hey, man, I'm proud of you, AG. It's good to have you on here, man. You're welcome back anytime, my friend. Anytime, dude.
Oh, yeah. So, I got to get back on the show, too, but connecting with your boy. More cryptid talk. I like this stuff.
Oh, for sure, bro. Oh, yes. Yeah. So going back to that, though, for all you guys who are listening, especially you too, AG, look up Revelation 6:8. So it talks about a little bit of my theory as it talks about cryptids as well. So
I gotta make some notes.
Revelation 6:8, my friend. Check it out. So other than that, man, if people want to get a hold of you or follow your podcast, shout it out, man.
Yo, everybody. Do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and a Spotify for Cryptidwarfare Podcast. You can find them on YouTube and everywhere else. You can also check us out at ParanoiRadio.com, Paranoi Radio on Instagram. And I promise you, the show is not a political podcast, but we do get dirty, and there you will get your emotions hurt. So make sure you check us out. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, and check us out, guys. We have affiliations with Flavors of the Forest. We do keep it all natural. We put God first now a lot more than ever. And I want to thank you guys again. Thank the Lord for allowing me to be here, and every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. Keep checking us out. And you, dude, you're amazing, bro. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. You know what? I mentioned you a lot more than you think on our show, specifically talking about not only the cryptids, but you mentioned something on our show last time that really shook me to the core. And you said, and this is what solidifies me believing in the elves and the Bigfoots and other dimension stuff. You said, you must preach God's word to all creatures. Not he didn't say humans, he's all creatures. And you mentioned that Bible verse, and I was like, dude, I say that on every platform I can. I always give you credit, man. So mad love, bro.
Right on, brother. Well, all right, man. Before we end it, don't go anywhere. We'll chat a little bit. I'll let you go. But other than that, guys, appreciate you guys. I will have all his information in the show notes. So you guys need to get in contact with AG. I will have all that in the show notes, man. AG, appreciate you, man. Blessings to you and your family, bro. And guys, you guys got any questions or you guys got any experiences? You guys just want to chat or prayer requests? Hit me up, cryptidwarfare@gmail.com. That's cryptidwarfare@gmail.com. IG, Facebook. Let's go. Let's do it. So, all right, guys, you guys have a blessed week, and we'll chat with you later.